Ilha de Melo, the island of honey in Portuguese, is the remotest area of Guinea-Bissau, one of West Africa's least known countries. This traditional dance shows that Cantanhez National Park, the country's most recent, also protects an extraordinary cultural heritage. Nalus are Ilha de Melo's prevailing ethnic group. Inside the park live also the Fulas, the Pearls of French-speaking Africa, the Balantas and other peoples. The park's sector facing the Atlantic Ocean is an extraordinary mosaic of water and land. Landscapes change 4 times a day with the tides. In the inlets and in the channels between the islands, eagles, herons, pelicans and other birds are easy to spot. On the wide beaches that come to the surface at low tide twice a day, land plovers, gulls, and even vultures. Terns and flamingos land on the beaches and on the ephemeral sandbanks that emerge for a few hours from the ocean. At low tide, the beach becomes crabs' playground. Cantanhez National Park is first of all a forest park. About 30 matosh, areas of pristine forest, form the park's heart. The tallest tree in these forests is kapok, Ceiba pentandra, poilau in Portuguese, a tree that can reach a height of 200 feet. Its roots form fascinating labyrinths. Visitors of Cantanhez National Park can easily spot black and red colobus, 2 species who manage to coexist thanks to their slightly different diets. It is more difficult to see the chimpanzees who live here as one of West Africa's most important populations. Seeing the chimps appearing through the foliage has a great emotional impact.
Cantanhez National Park is the most recent one that has been established in Guinea-Bissau. Ade, Alternag and Tiningena, with UICN's help, have started working to help the local communities and to make a continuous effort to preserve these forests.
A União Europeia está realmente envolvida neste parque, neste processo, nesta área.
The European Union is really involved in this park, in this area. We have to consider that Guinea-Bissau's south has not been abandoned, but is the less developed region in the country. Here we are trying to support, at the same time, human development and conservation of nature.
Eco Cantanhez project, promoted by AD and Associazione Interpreti Naturalistici, trains the guides who will lead the tourists in the park. A few years ago, tourism here was non-existent. Now there are a few hundred visitors a year. It is not easy for Andrea and Claudio to help people who were born and grew up in Cantanhez villages to understand the curiosities and needs of the visitors who come from Europe to see the park's forests and wildlife. After theoretical lessons, teachers and pupils move to the forest to check and to map with a GPS the trails they will follow with the tourists.
falamos de fruto, pero mostramos, ele pode tocar, pode cheirar também, não?
It's not easy for Cantanhez guides helping visitors meet the chimpanzees who spend the night on the palm trees. Their nests, made of bent and broken leaves, are easy to spot. Zeka Ju, one of the most expert guides, knows when to call the chimpanzees without disturbing them. One at a time, in the uncertain light of dawn, chimpanzees allow men to see them, then slide to the ground. It is a fleeting look, but it makes the long trip to Cantanhez worthwhile.